So my name is Jenny Herrera and I'm the Executive Director of Acts 435, and it is wonderful to welcome you all this morning to our Giving Hope Together. So we are going to spend the next half an hour really listening to some stories from some of our advocates. We're going to just share with you our annual report. Now that does connect with our financial statements from last year, so it always feels a bit funny because we're here in April 2026. We're going to look back at August 2024 through till July 2025, and Katie's going to do that, and then I will lead on to where we are today and what great things are going on. I did mention we are going to keep it shorter this year. This is something we do every year, but this year we're going to have half an hour. However, the team is going to stay on. So if you have any burning questions, don't worry, you will get a chance to ask them. We're very conscious this is the one time a year where we get together and have this opportunity for you to ask any questions. So we will enable you, if you want to ask a question, to do that after we sort of formally ended our time together. So I just want to give a little bit of a brief history. Acts 45 has now been going for 16 years. I've had the privilege of being involved right from the very beginning. We piloted in 2009, launched formally in 2010, and it is just an absolute joy to be able to resource local churches and charities as they reach out to people in need in their communities. And on this call we have a range of people, some who are giving to those requests, some who are posting those requests, and our team that is in the middle. So before we go any further, I just want to introduce them. I've told them they have to wave. I'm sure they're delighted and really pleased with me, but rather than bringing a slide up. So we've had some big changes to our team in the last year. So there are now 6 of us. There has never been 6 before, so this is quite big. We're still under 3 full-time equivalents, so still running in a very small way, but delighted to just go through our team for those of you who don't know. So in order of those who've been with us the longest, we have Katie, who can wave and you can have a look around at our community. So she heads up our partnerships and our comms and will be sharing our annual report with you shortly. We then have Carol, who has been our administrator. So if you're an advocate on this call, you'll probably know Carol. You'll probably have had messages from her. She has just recently stepped back to just do our bookkeeping. So she's my partner in crime on the finances. Really grateful that she's able to stay just 6 hours a week, but keeping all the finances up to date. Then back in July of last year, we welcomed Nathan. So he is our digital and comms officer, and it's just been great to have a bit more capacity for us to be able to go out and do some more filming. He's brought a nice refresh to our social media and is leading all those things and has done the main work of putting our annual report together. Also in July, we said a fond farewell to Rona, who is on this call. Hi, Rona, good to see you. And her replacing her role has been Helen, who is just doing a sterling job as our operations manager. And she is the one who is helping advocates get settled, dealing with any strange queries, and line managing our administrator, who is our newest recruit. So Yvonne joined us just last month as our administrator. She is the one that checks all our requests before they go online and sees all our thank you messages going out. So and actually it's been lovely to have a bigger team and be in that position to bounce ideas off, and we connect together once a week. We meet in person. We're all based here in York, and you'll hear from different members of the team as we go through this morning. So without further ado, I want to pass on to Helen, who's going to introduce our advocates, because we want to get straight into hearing some stories. Over to you, Helen.
Good morning. So yes, I joined last year, and since then I have had the amazing privilege of getting to know quite a few of our nearly 900 advocates that we currently have active. And it's just been brilliant to get to know some of you really well. And I can see some of you on the call, and it's lovely to see your faces because I only ever get to email you usually. We've got 3 advocates this morning who have come ready to share stories with you all. And thank you so much to them. So we're going to hear from Chiara, who's from Luminary Bakery. We're going to hear from Emma from Safe Families, and we're going to hear from Ella from Clean Slate Solutions. So I'm going to attempt to unmute Chiara so that you can share your story.
Hi, thank you, Ellen. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Chiara, and I work at Luminary Bakery and Luminary Women. We're a social enterprise and charity based in London, and we have an employability program for women that have experienced gender-based abuse and various disadvantages, and also a bakery where women can then go and work either in the bakery or in the cafe. And we've been working with ACTS for quite a few years. I think it's like 3, 4 years. And I want to tell you about a woman that ACTS supported last year. That she's a survivor of trafficking and modern slavery. She was trafficked from China to London about 10 years ago. And she was referred to us because she was looking for a job. And at the beginning, she didn't have any recourse to public funds. So we were trying to sort out her immigration. So she had literally no money when she came to us. And so the first application actually and request that we did with ACTS, it was back in 2024. And we managed to, well, through your support, we managed to get her food and a coat. It was winter, so that made a big difference for her. And then she continued with our program. She did loads of like work experience, did therapy, got a support worker that helped her to get a new immigration solicitor, so managed to get her status. And eventually we managed to get her a job in a restaurant in central London. And that was amazing. But when she started working there, she had no savings. And she was also placed in a temporary accommodation, which was quite far from a tube station. So we made another application. This was in summer 2025 at ACTS, and we managed to get her a second-hand bike, thanks to your support. And this has meant so much for her because not only she was able to cycle to work and so save quite a lot of money on travel. If you live in London, you would know how expensive it is. And also just for her well-being, she cycled in the weekends, and yeah, it has made a massive difference. So yeah, she's really grateful, and she's still in her job after almost 1 year, and she doesn't need our support anymore. She just comes in sometimes in our cafe and say hi to us. And so yeah, we're really grateful for all the support that you offered in the past 2 years, really, because it made a massive difference for her. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And Emma.
So I'm going to try and quickly tell you two stories from the last few months. So at Safe Families, we have been supporting a 5-year-old girl who has been diagnosed with a gene deletion. So for her, this looks like delays in her communication and interaction, and she's currently non-verbal. This can lead to moments of overwhelm and meltdowns, especially during transitions at home or out in the community. And mum is actually caring for more than one child with additional needs, so she herself has been feeling really overwhelmed. So taking the children out alone has become a real difficulty for her and something that she just doesn't feel able to do. But through Acts 435 support, the family have received a disability buggy and a car seat harness. And mum has shared with us that these items have completely changed their life, um, which is lovely to hear. And for the first time in a long time, she feels able to take her little girl out knowing that they're safe. And they can now access the community, and the volunteers who support them also use the buggy and the car seat during their time together. And the buggies also become the little girl's safe space, so somewhere where she can just retreat to as well when she feels overwhelmed. And then the second one is a young mum who was expecting her first baby in April. She'd faced a lot of really difficult circumstances. She's no longer in contact with the baby's dad due to domestic abuse, and she also lives with some complex mental health issues. Um, she's currently not able to work and relies on benefits, which just left her with really limited funds to prepare for baby's arrival. So thanks to the generosity of Acts 435 donors, we were able to provide her with lots of things, a pushchair, a next to me crib, several other like essential baby items, including a breast pump and things like that that she just couldn't have afforded on her own. And our hope was that these items would just ease some of that stress and help her just feel more prepared for motherhood. But what we didn't realize was just how significant this support would become, because baby was actually born last week with a really serious heart complication and has already needed some surgery. So I guess in the midst of all that frightening stuff and everything that's going on for mum at the moment, she hasn't needed to worry about where the money for those essential items is going to come from. So Axe has just been a huge blessing to her.
Thank you, Emma. That's lovely. And lovely to hear of a new arrival as well. Thank you. Ella.
Yes, so I work for Clean Slate Solutions, and we're a charity supporting people with past convictions find paid employment. And I can't begin to tell you just one story of how Acts 435 have helped the candidates that we support. It's helped, I think, over 180 in the years that we've been partners with you guys, and it's been life-changing for so many people. So some examples of the things it's done, it's like Kiara, that we've been able to buy bikes for candidates to be able to commute to and from the new jobs. What's again made it a sustainable employment pathway for them all. That we've helped with self-employment support, maybe buying some office furniture or a refurbished laptop or everything to kind of set them up on the right path with the self-employment route. Again, some of it's helped with some of the necessities that we all take for granted every day, like food vouchers, washing machines, the basics that people need to thrive, really. What's again just been life-changing. Sometimes bills or training courses. There's been so many different stories, and everyone in common is the candidates that we support are so thankful and blown away that people out there care, they're willing enough to donate and give to people and help with their second chance, really, back into society. So it's just thank you to obviously all the team at Acts 435 and all the kind donors who've changed so many lives with, by the sounds of it, so many different organisations. So thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you, the three of you, for sharing those. I know that those are not unusual stories. There will be lots of you on this call who will have experienced really similar situations, and I know that Axe has made a difference to quite a lot of you on this call in the way that you've been able to support people, and it's just so lovely to hear some of those stories this morning. And I hope that those of you who were listening to those just gave you a renewed sense of hope this morning, that we can make a difference and that we are making a difference, which is just so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing those. I believe Katie is going to share our annual report with you.
Yeah, thank you, Helen, so much. And thank you again for sharing. It is great to see such connection. I think Ella hinted at it there. You know, you're all doing vastly different things, but you're all helping individuals, and that's exactly what we're all about at Acts 435, and neatly ties in really with our report, our financial report, which, as Jenny said at the beginning, is from August 2024 to July, the end of July 2025. So I'm just going to share my screen and just going to show you a few highlights from that specific financial year. We titled this report "The Joy in Partnership," which I hope has just been highlighted by the stories shared and the fact that we are partnering with lots of different organisations to make Acts 435 happen. So there was in this and this report, this financial year, and still is, so much joy for us in partnering with local churches and charities, but also with our supporters and other charity networks and organisations. So this report is a real reflection of that joy over that financial year from August 2024 to July 2025. So first of all, you can read Jenny's reflections on that specific time period, and it includes our change to differentiate our partner organisations as we introduced our key partner status, which was quite a big thing for us as a charity. And she also writes about the incredible partnership with our friends at Stewardship, who featured us in their 40 Acts Lent campaign in March 2025, seeing £30,000 given in just 24 hours on our website. And as Jenny says in her reflection in there, Acts 435 is a true work of partnership with other charities, local churches and individuals, which sums up the report perfectly. Also in the report, you can read some stories of hope that reflect the types of requests that we've been supported through our network, and similar to some of the wonderful stories we've heard already this morning. And then also in the report, we've highlighted some of our milestones during that financial year. And I just wanted to just talk about a few of them, not all of them, because I want you to go and read it for yourselves as well. But we firstly supported nearly 900 individuals through our different annual campaigns, which included our school uniform campaign, our Fresh Start appeal, but also our campaign that we run during the Christmas period. And these are just certain points of the year where individuals and families can often face more difficulty. So we have a push through our social media and hope to meet lots of requests, which we did within this financial year. We also, just at the end of that, went into 2025 with no live requests for help on the website, which was due to the absolute amazing generosity of our donors during that Christmas period. Also, within this financial year, I wrote an article for the Evangelical Alliance, which was fantastic in spreading the word about Acts 435, and it highlighted the gaps that people are facing and how Acts 435 can help to address those. And then we also gathered as our staff team and our trustees as well to discuss how we can grow further our networks and partnerships, which saw us look to employ a new member of our team, which then happened to be Nathan, who is on the call, and Jenny introduced you to earlier. And then finally, at the end of this financial year, we did say a sad goodbye, as Jenny's already said, to Rona, who moved on from her role after 10 years with us. And we all appreciated her contribution to our work over those 10 years. And then lastly, I just want to show you our stats at a glance, but also at the same time, just remind you of our very unique gift aid model. So we were again able to distribute over £1 million to those that need it most in communities around the UK. And as this is distributed, the gift aid we reclaim on those donations also sustains us as a charity, covering our administration costs and salaries, meaning that we can continue to guarantee that 100% of every donation goes to the recipient, but also that we can continue to make this resource completely free for our partner churches and charities, which is just incredible. So it was wonderful. If you want to read the full report, you can do on our website. If you go to the Partner With Us section and then click on resources, you will find it there. You can obviously also read the full report on the Charity Commission website. If you'd like to look at the financial statements, there are a few included in our annual report here. But if you want to read the full financial statements and report, you can head to the Charity Commission website as well to do that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to pass it back to Jenny.
Super, thank you very much, Katie. I hope you're feeling encouraged and like you're part of something bigger. I sometimes think about how individual advocates, particularly those that might be in a small church and they are doing this and they may feel very alone, isolated, and not really part of the bigger community, and yet they are part, as Helen said, of 900 advocates. That's from around 650 different partner churches and charities, and we're all doing this together. And for me, sat sort of in the middle of it all, I just think it is astonishing to me the way that this all holds together because we're all doing our bit in giving hope. We're providing the website that everyone is using, but advocates are reaching out. They are taking time. They are giving of themselves. It's a difficult work, isn't it? I know those on the call here will back me up. You know, you are reaching out to people who are often facing multiple layers of crisis, multiple layers of challenges, which we've even heard in those stories. This lady who's just had a baby, she was already having multiple challenges and now new ones layered on top. And for us, it is just an absolute privilege to be part of that reaching out to help. You know, Acts 435 requests are capped at £200. It is not going to change the world, but we know and we have seen over the years that a small gift really does make a big difference. When it's the right kind of need, fitting in at the right moment, it can be transformational. And it is just an absolute joy for us to be part of that wider reaching out to people. And what has been particularly special to see is just how people keep giving. It is worth saying, as I introduce the team, we haven't got a fundraiser, we don't apply to grants. This is individual people who want to help, who want to make a difference. And those of you on this call who give, and especially those who are regularly giving, I just want to say a huge thank you. Everyone could stop tomorrow and all these requests would just be sat on the website, but they don't. Week by week, every single week, I do reports for our trustees, and every single week there are new donors joining us. So our community is ever growing, and obviously all our regular donors giving as well. And when I was writing my reflection for the annual report, I thought we've grown by 9%. That is quite astonishing in the current climate. A lot of UK charities really struggling. I chatted to someone just last week who is moving from leading one charity to another, and she said most charities that you go for an interview for, the first thing you're going to do as you go in to lead that charity is look at how you cut costs and where you might need to make people redundant. And so I feel a huge privilege that that is not our reality here. And we are just seeing that continued giving. But I think it also tells a story, a wider story for the nation, that people do still care, that people do want to step in and help, and they are doing, and in increasing number. So a few things just to say where we are now, where we're going, what we're focused on off the back of last year. So it's, in my mind, it's been very much a few years of just being steady as she goes, or we run like a train, as our chair of trustees said. It just all keeps running. But really, we with a slightly bigger team, we're now able to give a bit more attention to being a bit more strategic, to be honest, and looking at, right, okay, we know that this works. We hear stories every day from our advocates of the difference this makes. But what we need to do now is just really get that message out there. This has always been the thing. Get the message out, make sure all churches know about Acts 435 and how they can partner with us. One of our most effective ways to do that is work with key networks. So one of our areas of focus is just to take those networks one by one. So I'm talking about things like Christians Against Poverty and Community Money Advice, who are now merging. How many of your churches and centres are working with Acts 435? Perhaps it's 15%. We want to get it up to 30%. The same with Trussell. We're working closely with Warm Welcome and really all these different networks saying, look, we want to get more and more partners on board. Now, that might make me feel a little bit nervous because advocates on the call might be like, oh gosh, if there's lots more people posting requests, won't it get overwhelmed? And this is where our firm belief in God's provision comes in. As a Christian charity, we have seen you've always got to keep these things in balance, but God has been so faithful and has provided the resources we've needed. And just an example of that really is from the last couple of months. Well, to be honest, I'm going to start in December. Because in December 2023, we were featured on a Christmas Songs of Praise. Now, that's probably the pinnacle in the Christian world of where you get some exposure. And, we saw an incredible week. I think there was £50,000 given in that week. And it was a month where in December 2023, we got sort of around £125,000 given in 1 month. And a standard month would maybe be 70 to 80,000. But last December, with no Songs of Praise, we got that same level of giving. I mean, the first week of December alone was just unbelievable. And we were back up at 130,000 in 1 month. Like, my goodness, God is good. People are good and care. And then at the end of February, so January went really well because we've cleared our website of requests and people just kept giving. At the end of February, we were again featured in Stewardship's 40 Acts Lent Appeal. And, we had less requests live on the website because people were being so generous. And I thought, gosh, I wonder what will happen and how will we better the year before when £30,000 was given in a day, but it was met right at the very end of the day. Well, we woke up, requests were already being met, and by midday, our website had been cleared. And it's just astonishing, really, to just reflect on that generosity. And we've just seen that continued giving. March, those of you who are advocates on the call will know this. You've seen requests being met in 2 and 3 days, just consistently happening, even into early April. Now, it has slowed and these things happen, and we're heading into spring. A lot of our donors are on holiday, so I'm afraid it has, there are now requests that are over a week old. But I think back 10 years, and there were often requests that were 23 days old, 24 days old, getting near to the month. So to think that 10 days is bad is just evidence of the fact that we have seen a model that is such a clever idea and works. And so as we reach out to new partners, as we hope to bring on more partners, my hope and my belief and my faith is that more donors will come and they will continue to give, because one of the key sources of donors for us are our local church and charities spreading the word. So a huge thank you to anyone who is here from a local church or charity who has just put it in a bulletin, told people from the front of the church, or put it in your charity newsletter, because people are giving as a result of that. And then they commit in and they love the way that it's such direct giving. So I'm really excited for the future that we've had. Stewardship was a great opportunity, but both Katie and I are getting different opportunities to be in front of different networks. We've also been working with a PR agency because we won a prize of £15,000 worth of free PR support. So they have been lining up different articles and interviews. I've got one on Premier Radio's Breakfast Show a week today, actually, so do tune in. So I think it's just been exciting to see how that momentum's growing, and my hope and my prayer is that continues. And I just really hope that you feel uplifted today. There is a lot of need out there. People are really struggling. The cost of living crisis is still real, and of course situations at the moment are making prices go up further. And so an organisation like Acts 435 is needed more now than ever. And just a huge thank you to everyone who's connecting, and just help us spread the word, please. Just tell others about how they can partner with us or how they might be able to give and support. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to finish with a prayer if that's all right. But any questions you have, please hang on, and we will pray, stop the recording, and then take some questions. So Lord God, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you because you provide. I want to thank you that you provide in so many different ways. Lord, would you just bless all those who give to the work of Acts 435? Would you please bless all those who are reaching out to those in need? And above all, we just lift up to you all those who are struggling with the cost of living at this time. And Lord, we just pray that you would provide for them in the many different ways. Lord, would you move in power in this nation? Amen.